Hello, my friend. You've arrived at a soft and quiet place. If you like, you can rest your shoulders, loosen your jaw, and let the corners of your eyes grow heavy. The night is kind out here, and it has time for you. We're going to move gently, the way a calm breeze moves over tall grass. Nothing to chase, nothing to fix, only a simple walk under a friendly sky. Let's settle the breath together. Inhale slowly through the nose, filling just enough to lift the ribs. Hold that gentleness for a heartbeat. And exhale longer than the inhale, like letting out a sigh you've been holding all day. Again, breathing in smooth and easy, and breathing out, letting the weight slide down and away. One more if it feels good, and then we'll begin to walk. The path is a ribbon of pale dust between wide summer fields. The light is low and blue, the kind of blue that feels cool on the skin. The wheat husks have been cut, leaving tidy stubble that catches drops of dew. When the breeze moves, the dew shivers, and the whole field seems to whisper, "Hush, hush, hush." Far off, the slow call of an owl drifts over a hedgerow, too gentle to be startling. It's just the night saying hello. He is already there, a few steps ahead. The traveler people call the star collector. He is not grand, and he is not strange. He is simply steady. His coat is worn and brushed with the scent of cedar and smoke. His boots make a quiet thup on the soft path. Over his shoulder hangs a wide willow basket, lined with a folded piece of linen. It is the kind of basket made to hold apples or bread, but tonight it holds something lighter and warmer and very dear. He has walked many nights like this. He knows the turns of these fields by the way the air bends around each hedge. He knows which fence posts sing when the wind passes, and which ditch holds a cool ribbon of fog that slips across the ankles like silk. He hums sometimes, not a song, but a shape of sound. Just enough to keep pace with his steps. The hum isn't for him. It's for the little lights that fall. You see one now, a soft bloom of brightness drifting down, no bigger than a sparrow's egg, trailing a fine tail like the thread of a spider web. It doesn't fall the way you might expect. No streak or shout, no flare. Just a slow, patient descent, as if the sky were placing it carefully on the earth. When it touches the ground, it makes a sound you can almost miss, a tender tick, as if a teacup were settling into its saucer. The dew around it glows for a moment, and then returns to plain silver wetness. The light remains, humming a little, like a warm pebble of sunrise lost and found. The traveler kneels. He does not hurry. He brushes the back of his hand along the grass first, feeling the wet and the cool, and letting his warmth arrive there the way day arrives at the edge of a window. He whispers a greeting to the star. He always greets them because he believes that anything that has traveled this far deserves a small kindness. Then, with 2 fingers, he cups the light and lifts it into his basket, setting it gently onto the linen so it won't roll and bruise. There are a few soft rules to this work. He never reaches for a star that is still choosing its landing. He avoids the roots of trees where small animals sleep. He will not harvest more than the basket can hold without crowding. And he never keeps them for himself. The fallen stars belong to those who need them. Most nights the need is simple. A farmer whose hands ache at the end of harvest tucks a star near his bedside and sleeps without waking for the first time in weeks. A potter places one in the kiln room, and her cups and bowls come out with a gentle sheen that looks like dawn. A teacher sets a star in a jar on her desk, and her students, seeing themselves in that patient glow, speak more softly to one another. The traveler does not trade them for coins. He trades them for small promises. I will speak kindly when the day is long. I will sit by the river even when I have no time. I will remember to breathe before I answer. These are the currency of the night. Tonight, he walks along the crest of a hill where the fields give way to a meadow. The grass here is taller and tufted with seed heads that swish softly at the knee. A brook moves through the low ground, not in a hurry, just a steady threading of water between polished stones. The basket at his side glows dimly, each star a quiet pulse. He adjusts the strap so the weight rests easily. There is one light near the top that shines a little brighter than the rest, as if it has something to say. He pauses on a flat stone and stands still for a while. It is one of his habits, this stopping. He says it lets the night step around him and find its ease again, the way you might hold a door and let someone pass. He sips from a small bottle of tea he keeps in his coat. The lid makes the softest touch against glass, and a curl of steam disappears into the air. The tea tastes like mint, honey, and a memory of lemon. He lets it sit on his tongue and then swallows, slow and warm. Beyond the meadow lies a village with sloped roofs, sleeping gardens, and a square with a stone bench that stays cool even in summer. Some windows glow with late lamps. Some porches keep their secrets in shadow. He knows those streets. He has set stars on many windowsills there, and in many open palms. He knows the baker who rises before the birds, the carpenter who sings as he sands, the librarian who opens the door early for anyone who needs quiet before the town wakes. And tonight, as the traveler stands with the tea bottle warming his hand, he feels that small tug he has come to trust. It isn't a sound exactly, and it isn't a message. It's like the way you know when rain is about to arrive, even while the sky is still. A sense, a leaning. Somewhere in the village, someone is sitting with the ache of a space. Not a dangerous ache, not a crisis. Just a place where hope has settled low and tired, like a bird with wet feathers. He nods to that feeling, as if tipping his hat to a passerby, and he starts down the path toward the lights. As he walks, he lets his breath match his steps. 3 soft steps to the inhale, and 4 to the exhale, easing more air out than in. You can try it if you want. Step in, step in, step in, and then step out, step out, step out, step out. There's no right way here, only the slow way, the kind way. Every exhale is a release. Every inhale brings in the cool of the night and the scent of wild mint crushed underfoot. A star lowers itself near the brook, lands with that shy tick, and rests among the moss. He lifts it gently and holds it up to his cheek. It is warm, not hot, not bright, just warm, like a palm held in yours. He smiles and sets it beside the brighter one in his basket. He senses the brighter one is waiting for a particular pair of hands, a particular story that is ready for light. He does not know whose hands, not yet. He doesn't need to. The path narrows as it reaches the village gate. Ivy climbs the stones, and a wooden sign hangs with 2 iron hooks that creak, cree, eek in the breeze. So softly it feels like an old house breathing in sleep. He passes beneath and pauses again, giving the night a moment to settle. His posture is unhurried, his face kind. He could be your neighbor walking home, or a friend you haven't met yet. The glow at his side is steady, like the heart of a hearth seen through a kitchen door. Before he takes those last few steps into the square, he invites you closer. If you wish, walk beside him. You don't have to carry anything. Your presence is already enough. Let your hands be empty. Let your shoulders drop another little bit. Feel the ground, solid, friendly, under your feet. Hear the small sounds, the thread of water, the hush of grass, the soft of his hum returning as the road smooths out. There is a bench in that square, and a woman will be sitting there soon. Or maybe she is already waiting, her gaze turned inward, her breath a little tight. He doesn't know her name yet, but he knows the shape of the night around her. He knows how a star fits into that shape. Not to fix her life, not to change who she is, but to offer a warm place for her hope to sit and stretch and remember its own light. The traveler turns toward the square. The basket glows like a quiet promise, and the sky above, dark as velvet, keeps letting small lights fall, one by one, the way a gentle hand might pass you a candle and say, "Here, this is for you." If you're ready, we'll take those few steps more and meet the night where it meets us. The village square is a gentle bowl between the roofs, collecting the hush of the night, like a fountain collects rain. A clock in a small tower shows a single hand pointing between numbers, as if even time has loosened its belt. The traveler steps onto the stone and lets his breath settle into a slow rhythm again. In through the nose for a count of 3, and out for a count of 4. You can follow if you like, nothing strict, only kind. In, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4. She is there on the cool stone bench, wrapped in a shawl the color of wheat at dusk. Her name is Mara. She is grown, though the softness around her eyes hints at the girl she once was, the one who ran barefoot along the river and tied red ribbons to the fence posts just to see them flutter. Tonight, her hands rest on her knees. Her gaze is lowered, turned inward, like someone listening for a far voice across a field. The lamplight kisses the edge of her cheekbone and leaves the rest to the velvet dark. The traveler does not speak at once. He sets his basket on the bench beside him and stands a respectful pace away, letting the glow introduce him. When Mara looks up, her eyes take in the coat, the boots, the quiet posture, And then the basket. Ah, the basket. And something unclenches in her chest, only a little, like a knot that has finally felt the first loosened loop. "Good evening," he says, and it isn't a phrase so much as a blanket quietly placed. The night is calm. "It is," she answers, and her voice has that dry leaf scrape that comes from a day of not using it. "It is calm everywhere but in here." She touches her sternum with 2 fingers, a small tap. She does not apologize for the feeling. She is tired of apologizing to the air, furniture, and clocks. The traveler nods, as if she has told him the weather. "Would it help to breathe together for a moment?" he asks. She considers, then nods once. "Let's keep it simple," he says, "like walking, in for 3 steps, out for 4. He lifts 2 fingers, a tiny conductor. In, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4. They go like this for a few rounds, barely moving, letting breath iron out the day's wrinkles. A cat slips across the far end of the square, tail like a question mark, feet soundless on stone. A moth writes soft loops around the lamp. When the traveler opens the basket, the glow lifts like a sigh. Like bread when the oven door is eased open. The stars do not flare, they greet the air. Mara leans a little closer, not in hunger, but in recognition, as if she hears a tune she hasn't heard since childhood, and remembers the words without trying. The brighter star near the top, the one that felt like it had something to say, warms the linen beneath it and hums, a sound so small you might call it silence made friendly. "May I show you something?" he asks. She nods. He cradles the bright star in both hands. Up close, its shape is less a point and more a smooth pebble of light, as if dawn decided to sit down and rest before its work began. It is warm to the palms, not insistent, not burning, just warm, the way a memory of kindness warms the mind. He holds it between them, not offering yet, only letting its presence join the conversation. "What do you do with them?" she asks, because a practical question is sometimes the only bridge across a wide feeling. "Sometimes people tuck them near the bed," he says. "Sometimes they set one by a plant that wants to grow. Sometimes they keep one in a pocket and touch it when the day is loud. But really," and here his voice lowers, gentle as moss, The star does what the person asks without words. It listens until the listening becomes light. Mara breathes out, a longer exhale than before. Listening, she repeats, as if trying the sound for fit. You can hold it, he says. She hesitates, then slides her hands beneath his, and the star settles into her palms with that delicate teacup sound. Tick, like something meeting its saucer. Her shoulders drop a fraction. She closes her eyes. The light doesn't brighten. Instead, it seems to widen, like a pool that finds a new shore. Inside, her thoughts slow the way snow slows sound. There had been a clutter, lists, echoes, the heavy furniture of what-ifs. And now there is a clearing where a small table stands, and on the table a cup of steam, and on the steam a single thread of lemon. She does not drink. She only warms her hands and lets the warmth move up her wrists. She doesn't have to decide anything here. She doesn't have to make herself okay. She only has to notice the way her body knows what to do when it is given a room with a chair and no questions. She opens her eyes. It's quiet, she says, surprised, as if the quiet had been hiding in the lining of her coat all along. The traveler nods. Sometimes hope doesn't leave, he says. It gets tired of having to stand guard. It sits down in a corner until someone brings a small light and says, "You can rest. I'll keep watch for a while." Mara's mouth tilts, not quite a smile, not yet, but the idea of smiling appears and sits on the top step. She strokes the star with her thumb as if it were fur, and the star answers with a soft inner hush. "What do I give you for it?" she asks, turning at last to the ordinary structure of exchange, the familiar rails her thoughts can run on. "A promise," he says, "only one. Small is best." She considers. The cat returns and rubs its face on the corner of the bench, purring like a slow drum. The clock hand coughs forward a fragment. Somewhere a little gutter makes a silver talk with a trickle of water. The air is dampening, distant clouds pulling their soft quilt across the face of the moon. "I'll promise this," she says. "When the ache curls up like a hedgehog, I will not poke at it with a stick. I will put the kettle on and sit beside it, and I will breathe the way we breathed. In for 3, out for 4. The traveler's eyes warm, and the glow of the basket answers with a small shift, like many tiny heads nodding. "That is a fine promise," he says. "The knight approves." She breathes, and this time the exhale is almost a laugh. "I suppose it would," she says. They sit together, not talking, the way people do who do not need to announce their thoughts to be understood. The rain thickens a little, not heavy, not cold, just a fine lace drifting through lamplight, making halos on the stone. The star in Mara's hands dims to a deeper, cuddlier warmth, as if it is sensing the rain and tucking itself in. She shifts it to one palm and drapes her shawl edge over her wrist to catch the gentle drip. "Do they go out?" she asks. "They rest," he says. "They are not candles. They are visits. When a star rests, it leaves a memory in the place it touched, a kind of soft imprint that you can find again with your breath. Like the shape of a book in a bag long after you've taken it out." "Exactly." Mara looks down at the star, then up at the traveler, and the smile arrives properly now, quiet but whole, as if it had walked from a long way off and found the right door. In the window across the square, a vase of dried lavender leans toward the glass. The smell of wet stone and green things gathers around them, clean and simple. "Will you walk with me to the river?" she asks. "It's only a few streets." "If you like," he says, and rises with the ease of someone untying a ribbon. They move along the cobblestones, slowly. You can come too if you wish, your steps unhurried, your breath still coasting the gentle counts. The night makes soft music with small things, a shutter clicking, a branch tapping, the rain over leaves. The houses pass like polite boats. A dog sighs in its sleep. At the corner, a bakery window fogs from inside as someone needs tomorrow's bread. At the river wall, the world opens. The water is not loud. It is a long, low hush, like a hand smoothing a bedsheet before sleep. Mara leans her forearms on the stone. The star glows steadily, and its reflection quivers on the black surface, broken into 100 tiny lines by the ripples, and then drawn together again. She breathes in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4. The ache inside her does not vanish, but it uncurls, showing its small, tired face, which is not frightening at all, only human. "Thank you," she says. "You did the work," the traveler answers. "You came to the bench." They stand quiet until the rain thins and the clouds part just enough to show a slice of the moon. Somewhere above, the sky decides where to place its next small gift. The traveler feels it like a tug at the sleeve, another need, another listening to offer. He does not hurry to go. The night does not ask for hurry. Mara turns the star in her hands. "May I keep it by my window tonight?" she asks. "It would be like that," he says. "Open the curtain a finger's width. They enjoy seeing where they are." She laughs softly, and the laugh is a ribbon that hangs in the air for an extra second before it settles. She tucks the star beneath the fold of her shawl and holds it as one might hold a warm loaf or a sleeping bird. Then she looks at him with a clear gaze that has more room in it now. "I think I can sleep," she says, like someone who has found her bed made and her sheets turned down. "Then sleep," he says, and he bows a little, not performance, only respect. She goes, steps light, the river walking with her in its hush. The traveler watches until she turns the corner. Then he looks up. The basket at his side glows low, with a few stars still humming. He rests his palm on the weave, as one might touch the flank of a friendly horse. "There, there," he murmurs. Not words, really, just care shaped into sound. A small brightness loosens from the cloud bank and drops with unhurried grace toward the meadow beyond the last cottage. The traveler lifts his face, closes his eyes for a breath, and then turns, boots whispering on wet stone. He moves without rush, like a tide deciding where to kiss the shore, ready to listen again. The meadow beyond the last cottage wears the rain like a silver veil. Each blade of grass holds a bead that trembles and then settles, trembles and settles, until the whole field looks like a quiet lake that forgot to ripple. The traveler steps from stone to soil, and the ground receives him with that soft, low thup that says, "You are welcome, you are safe." His basket glows in a low, even way now. No urgency, no flare, just a warm, steady pulse, like the feeling of a lamp seen from down the lane. Let's let the breath follow that steadiness. In, for the gentle count of 3, like drawing a curtain a little. And out, for the unhurried count of 4, like smoothing the blanket back down. In, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4. You can let your exhale be soft and a little longer each time, like a tide that does not need to prove anything to the shore. A new fallen star rests in the grass, tucked where the meadow dips toward the brook. It is small, a lullaby-sized light. The traveler kneels, touches the wet fringe of the earth with the back of his hand, and gives the night a nod, the way a friend gives a friend a slow smile. He lifts the star into his palm. Tick. The sound is delicate and right, a teacup meeting its saucer without hurry. He does not place this one in the basket. He holds it for a while, letting its warmth bloom against his skin, and the star answers with a hush, shh, as if it knows its own purpose and is content to wait. He looks back toward the village. Behind curtains, bodies lie curled and long, wrapped in quilts, wrapped in breath. The baker can be heard faintly kneading, low thump, a rhythm older than clocks. Mara's window shows a faint tremble of light at the edge of the curtain, just a finger width of glow, as promised. Somewhere a cat hops from sill to chair and lands without sound. The world is simmering down, lids easing onto pots, hinges resting in their frames. If you like, you can begin to set your own body down, the way the village is setting itself down. Start with your face. Let the tiny muscles around your eyes soften, as if the night were smoothing your brow with its cool palm. Let the tongue rest heavy and wide in the mouth. Let the jaw hang like a door on oiled hinges. Shoulders just a little lower. In, 2, 3, and out. 2, 3, 4. The traveler rises and walks beside the brook. The water makes its long, even sound. Shh. Not a demand, only an invitation. He stops where the bank curves in, and the grass leans forward like listeners. He places the new star near a smooth, flat stone. It doesn't roll. It sits the way a bird sits when it has found a good branch. He leaves it there because some lights are meant for passing feet. The farmer who will come at dawn to check the fence. The child, now grown, who will wander here after a hard day and find the water and the glow and her old breath again. Not all lights are meant to be carried. Some are meant to be found. He pauses and turns his head a little, as if listening to a story the dark is telling. You can listen too if you like. There is the far owl, courteous and calm, the soft talk of leaves, the faint patter of a last light rain moving away across fields like a curtain being drawn back from a window. No sharpness, no alarms, only the kinds of sounds that make your bones heavy, the way stones are heavy in a good, quiet way. Let the breath widen into the ribs, and on the exhale, allow the weight of you to sink where it wants to be. Imagine it like this. The bed beneath you is a meadow, patient and cool, shaped exactly to your outline. Every exhale sets your body a little deeper into its home shape. Every inhale brings a tiny hush of night air across your skin, like the traveler's coat brushing your shoulder as he passes and nods hello. No sharpness, no alarms, only the kinds of sounds that make your bones heavy, the way stones are heavy in a good, quiet way. He takes the path that loops back toward the hedgerow. The basket swings, almost empty now, but not lonely, satisfied. He is humming again, the small sound that doesn't ask you to follow, only keeps time for the feet. He reaches a gate where ivy has braided itself into green rope. He lifts the latch slowly so the metal won't scrape, and even the latch seems to sigh, "Thank you." On the other side is a small hollow where deer sometimes sleep. Tonight, the hollow holds only the imprint of bodies, the soft ovals in the grass, evidence of rest without the need to witness it. When the traveler sits, he chooses a low stump and rests his back against a tree. The bark is dry and kind. He draws the basket to his knees and studies the few remaining lights, their glows now so quiet that they barely show, like the memory of sunlight on the inside of your eyelids. He does not plan the night. He lets the night plan him. The stars in the sky continue their slow drift. Every so often one decides to fall, not like a command, but like a decision made by a friend who has time. Notice how the places that are already soft, the palms, the feet, the place where your legs meet the bed. Notice how the breath is doing its own work without needing you to manage it. In, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you let the counts go now, like setting pebbles down one by one at the side of the path. The breath will keep. It always does. The traveler tips his head back and closes his eyes, not to sleep yet, but to join the dark more completely. He remembers the promises he has earned tonight. Mara's promise to sit with the ache and put on the kettle. The baker's unspoken promise to rise before dawn. The river's promise to keep smoothing the stones. Promises are little bridges that don't mind how slowly you cross. He keeps them in his memory the way one keeps smooth pebbles in a pocket, for the weight of them, for the reassurance. He reaches into the basket and touches the brightest of the remaining stars, the one he didn't give because it hadn't yet asked to be given. It hums almost imperceptibly. He whispers to it, nothing that needs to be heard by anyone else. Words shaped like comfort, like I know, like when you're ready. The star rests. He rests. Across the meadow, the edge of the sky is not yet pale, but it is thinking about dawn. There is no rush. The night stretches, long and luxurious, like a cat warming its belly before turning over. The traveler's breathing slows again, and with it the sounds of the world draw further apart. The owl's call comes from a little more distance. The brook's hush becomes a soft fabric lining the silence. The edges of things blur the way letters blur when your eyes grow heavy and the page tilts toward you. If there is anything left in you that wants to hold on, some small guard who insists it must stay awake, thank it gently. Tell it that the star is keeping watch now. The traveler is keeping watch too, sitting where the path meets the tree, hat tilted, coat gathered close, basket at his knees. You can set your bundle down. You can put the kettle on inside your chest and let the steam rise and find the cool air and thin into quiet. The ache, if there is one, can curl near your feet and sleep as a soft animal sleeps, breathing, dreaming, nothing it needs to remember. In the village, a window clicks shut. In the field, a moth folds its wings against a stalk. In your body, the tide has found its gentle rhythm, in and out, like a shore that has known this pattern since before the first story was told. If a thought comes, it can pass, the way a cloud passes, noticed, accepted, and then carried on the slow wind until it dissolves at the horizon. Hush. Shh. The traveler opens his eyes one more time and looks upward, meeting the broad dark with affection. Thank you, he says, to no one and to everything. He lifts the basket strap over his shoulder. It is very light now. He stands, stretches the way a tree might stretch. No suddenness, only length. And then begins to walk the perimeter of the meadow, not to leave, but to draw a wide, soft circle around the sleeping world. Circles help keep things safe, he believes. Circles make good boundaries. Circles remind the heart that there is no corner to bump into in the dark. As he completes the loop, the brook turns its page with a quiet flip of water over stone. The night nods back to him, satisfied. And if sleep hasn't already taken you, it can take you now, as gently as a star finds grass, as kindly as a hand sets a cup on a saucer, as easily as the breath leaves and returns, leaves and returns, leaves and returns. Let what you're holding become heavy. Let the heaviness sink. Let the sinking be safe. You are in a quiet field. A warm light is near. Someone is keeping watch. In, soft as a feather. Out, long as a shoreline. In and out, in and out. Good night.